All right, coaches, welcome back here to Ask Coach from Exo Clinics. Hopefully you guys are having a great start, obviously to your summer. We're getting in here to 4th of July weekend, and, obviously we're going to be on the home stretch as we get to training camp here in about a month, maybe a little bit longer than that, for some of us. But again, it's been a great off season. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed, some of the things that you guys have gotten to learn and study over the course of the last, several months. And obviously we're on the home stretch here. And again, I appreciate you guys, your interaction. Keep sending the questions in. This is something that we're going to try to carry on into the fall and try to release this on a weekly basis, this Ask Coach segment. We've had a lot of questions come in. Some of the questions get answered via email. Some make it to this. So keep coming with those questions, and we'll try to have the answers for you guys. So, again, guys, I hope you guys have had a chance to, make the transition to the new site. And obviously it's been a process and a migration of emails and communication and the way we're setting that thing up. But, obviously we wanted to bring you guys a resource and a platform for you guys to study and watch film. The one thing, if you look at the new site now, I think as of right this minute, all of these courses are available on the site. So once you get your membership logged over, you'll have the opportunity to sign up for all these courses all underneath your membership, and it's obviously all part of that package here. So again, you've got the OC School 1 and 2. There's a ton of resources. We just migrated that to the site. Obviously, there's still the other platform that houses that, but you can get that on our site right now with all the downloads. It's well over 100 videos. There's a ton of information in there. So I think the OC School 1 and 2 is a great resource. Using Play Action Effectively is another course that just got put over there, 50 explosive screens. The Red Zone is another popular resource that's been on the site, that's obviously on the new thing as well, and it'll continue to stay there. And then obviously that's another piece that we plan on carrying into the off season, or actually into the season, is the Red Zone, as we continue to get in to a week-to-week basis as we get into our seasons. And the Y Cross Clinic is on there, the Duo Clinic, summer installs. There's still some more coming to that. Obviously, it's 2x2 right now, 3x1 plays are going to come out here very soon. And then the Perfect Marriage is another popular one that's on there. Obviously, then you still have the RPO Lab and all the other resources, the RPO drills. But we're trying to get everything in one spot for you guys. So please, appreciate you guys, your support. Make sure you guys check that site out, and make sure if you haven't made the transition over, that you get that done here shortly. So again, let's get into it. Ask Coach. I've got 4 questions here. This first one right here is, do I want double tights or do I want diamond? So, obviously that's a tough question. I really like that formation. Some of you guys have heard me clinic. If I can get tight ends and fullbacks and H-backs onto the field, and I want to do that. So I really like both of those formations. I always feel like, if you can get in double tight end on the line of scrimmage, I always feel like, 2x2. And then if you had this X even over here, I think, you really clean up the box. If you're playing a 4-down team, if you're playing a 3-down team, maybe they've got their double tight adjuster. But I really like that. I think you force them to defend all those gaps, and then you create one-on-ones out there on the perimeter there for those guys. So I really like double tights. But I also like diamond. I think diamond, we'll take a look at this real quick. I think once you get into diamond, now what you're dealing with the ability to move some guys around now. And again, it's still a 2x2, pretty fairly balanced formation. But now, if you want to move a guy here or move a guy back to the backfield or move a guy out or however you want to do it, I really like both of these. I think it balances up the defense. I think, they both give you some benefits there. I like them both. So double tights, I think you can balance up the defense. I think you can create those one-on-ones, create those extra gaps. And then I think the advantage of being in what we would call diamond here is the ability to move those guys, the Y and the H, and then that's going to create some challenges for the defense. There's no doubt about it. So hopefully that answers your question there. I think they're both great formations. If you guys have bigger bodies in your program and you can get guys like that onto the field, obviously I'm a big fan of it. I'd love to, I love to do it. So hopefully you guys do as well. So getting on to the next one here. What is a good adjustment to the backside of power? So, Coach, we love your power adjustment, discussing in the perfect marriage, but what do you suggest on the backside? So again, guys, if you guys have watched The Perfect Marriage, it's on the site. There's like 60 plus videos. It's one of my favorite things that we've put together, power and duo and some of the adjustments. And we do talk a lot about the front side adjustments. How do we attack the 3-4? How do we attack the tight front? How do we attack bear? Just some different change ups that we do with that. And I don't talk too much about backside adjustments, but I think, if I have to choose one backside adjustment, to give you guys here. So if we're going to run power in this direction right here. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to double, we're going to double to the mic. We're going to step back with the center. Now, here's my kick out. Obviously this is the guy that's going to carry the football right down there at that A gap. So what am I going to do on the backside here? So what I'm going to do on the backside that I would give you guys, I would put a bigger H in the backfield. And now to stop some of that backside penetration, these teams that want to really just, force these gaps and try to, get underneath things and penetrate. I'm not even going to pull someone from the backside on the line of scrimmage. I'm going to pull the H. So I'm going to make my H my puller. And then this is just going to be basically a triple gap seal funnel on the backside. So I think that's a really good adjustment to the backside if you have those type of bodies. Obviously, you can motion them in here and you get into a bigger set here because you still think about power. You've got, the front side double teams, the kick out, and then you have the backside puller. So what I would do is for the adjustment that I would give you here is going to be, pull a guy from the backfield, pull the H, pull a fullback, whatever you call them. I think that's a really good adjustment there for you guys. So hopefully that's great. But again, I think The Perfect Marriage is an excellent resource. I love putting that together. I often go back to it, and I love watching, some of the adjustments that we've put on there in the video. I think it's a really good resource, and we get a lot of good feedback on that one, and that's obviously on the site as well. Getting on to the next one here. Okay, so again, love it. How many plays on your red zone script? So actually, emailed this coach back to see exactly, what he was interested in hearing about. And he was talking more practice. So I think it's perfect. And I think whatever, when you get into game planning in practice, certainly those plays that you really like, if you practice on Monday and then you review it on Tuesday, or you practice on Tuesday, review it on Wednesday and discuss it, those plays are going to ultimately make their way to your call sheet. So again, when I script in the red zone, it's typically gonna be for practice, 12 to 15 plays. And obviously if you've got 5 there, 3 there, there's 8. There's 3 more, that's 11. This would be 3 more to 14, and then maybe throw in another 2-point play. So I think this is a really good way to do it. So I think what you've got to understand is, defining the red zone. And again, if you look at the OC school, I think there's really good resources we talk about in the red zone. We've got the call sheet. We've got some different thoughts on, philosophy and what you want to look like in the red zone and how you're going to take advantage of it. But we all kind of got our own little footprint of what it's going to look like in the red zone. But, for us, it's defining, really where does the red zone start? I think it starts where you can score points. Wherever your kicker can kick it from, I think that's how I would define the red zone. But typically, on a Monday or really on a Tuesday practice, Monday, we're going to work red zone routes or a new 2-point play. But Tuesday, we're going to get to red zone, and I'm going to start with the football on the 20, and then I'm going to go the 18, 16, 14, 12, and now that's really what's gonna make up these plays right here. So I'll be honest with you, when I think about the high red, I go right back to my normal downs, and certainly I've got like maybe a double move play that I can have from what I would call the high red, but whether that's the the 14-yard line to the 20, but really these 5 plays right here, I'm gonna pull from my normal downs. Because, we're always looking to get extra reps on maybe a naked or a screen or whatever we put in. This is where I say, all right, we're going to practice the red zone. So we're going to take away from something else on Tuesday, but I'm going to steal 5 plays right here from that normal down script and put it in there. And then when I start getting in the red zone, and what I have found, really in high school football, college football, maybe the NFL is a little bit more, sophisticated with how they game plan in the red zone and specifically defenses. But when I get inside the 10-yard line, that's when I really start anticipating man coverage, or really that's when I think that they're going to change. So clearly I'm going to have, some plays here from the 10, the 9, the 8, 7, 6. And, I'm going to have 3 plays that are going to make up, what I think can win if I get man coverage. And I'm going to script 3 plays right there. It's typically going to be, maybe a double tight play, a 2x2, 10 personnel looking play, a double move play. They're all going to have man beaters. They're going to have some rub element to it, and then I'm going to get down in this tighter zone and it's going to be the same thing, and then, probably 1, maybe 2 out of these 6, because I want to practice those pass plays, are going to be some sort of run play. So, as a QB run, whatever that might be. And then I'm going to get down to these 2-point plays. And I might have, 2 2-point plays for the week. And 1 was carried over. And we try to build those because I think you got to be prepared for 2-point plays. But I always look at my 2-point play chart and my 2-point play script from my call sheet. And if we're, 3rd and goal on the 4, I'll probably use a 2-point play if I've got 3 or 4 of them scripted, or, it might come from this script here. So again, we're talking about 12 to 15 plays on a Tuesday in the red zone. 5 of those are probably just going to be from your normal downs. So now it's going to leave you with 10 red zone plays. And then I think you got to have the ability to how are you going to win on 4th and 1 from the 1? 4th and goal from the 4, 4th and goal from the 8. Obviously this play would get pulled from up there, and this play would get pulled from right there. And then obviously, what's my muscle play? Do I have quarterback sneak? Obviously, in the past I've had some smaller quarterbacks and we haven't really been a quarterback sneak team. So again, I hope this helps you guys. I think watching the OC school would probably help you guys a lot in terms of your organization and breaking it down and game planning. But, in terms of just a script on a Tuesday, we're talking 12 to 15 plays, probably closer to 15. They're going to come from the normal downs here on the high red. And then once I get, to the 10-yard line, the 8-yard line, the 6-yard line, the 5, the 4, and so on. Obviously, I'm going to have a 2-point play in there. And then I got to figure out black ops if I'm going to go 4th and goal from the 1, 4th and goal from the 4. Got to have those win plays. Got to put your guys in those positions. And then a lot of the ways we practice. So if we're game planning and we're practicing on a Tuesday, and that's our initial red zone install day, and I've got these plays, and then I reevaluate Tuesday night and then Wednesday, and then we'll do a competition with our defense at some point that'll get down into the red zone, and then I'll have the opportunity to call these plays. So I'll have it pretty organized and have the ability to call those plays on a Wednesday, again in a very competitive period against my defense, and then obviously we'll have another red zone period. So again, I think there's a lot of details that go into game planning in the red zone, and just your thought process, your philosophy, and what you want that thing to look like down in the red zone. But keeping it organized and your game planning, certainly you got to continue to develop your process with that. So hopefully that answers that question. Getting on here to the last question, curl route versus press. So I was a receiver coach, really by trade for a long time. It was really how I started my career after I was a defensive back coach for a little while, and really had a chance to work in college football and study a lot of guys. And this is something I've done it consistently over the bunch of years of how we try to beat press running a curl route. So I'm going to give you some key coaching points. Hopefully it's something you guys can take from it. I think I just saw something on Twitter. Someone put it out there where guys were talking about a throw-by technique, and that's exactly what we do. So, I really want to be a throw-by technique. And we use that for curl routes. We use that for dig routes. We use that for slant routes. So it's very universal. It's a very universal fundamental. And I just think that there's some details that go into it. So, again, if I'm running a curl route right here from this line of scrimmage, our curl routes are typically 12 to 14 yards. So, obviously if I've got a line of scrimmage, if I've got a press guy, so I've got to work my line of scrimmage release. we typically want to outside release this and then use a throw by. So that's how I've been committed to doing it. So whatever you're going to do on the line of scrimmage there, foot fire, outside release, trying to keep the integrity of your split. This guy's going to be on you. I think one of the key coaching points to this is you don't want separation. It's kind of like winning on a slant route, which we talked about a couple weeks ago. You need that defender on your side to throw him by, because if there's separation in space, you're not throwing anything by, you're throwing air by, and then obviously you're going to have a tough time if you left the guy in where you're trying to release back to. So when you release here and you push vertical, you want this DB on you. You want him on you. You want him feeling good. You want him to make sure that you're feeling a vertical pressure, the threat of going deep in that direction. And then once you get that feel and you're leaning back into him and you get that feel around 12, 13 yards, he's on you. Now you're going to put your inside arm on his lower back or upper butt area, and you're going to throw him by in that direction, and you're going to come right back to the quarterback. So I would say the key coaching point is here's your line of scrimmage release outside, keep the integrity of your split, make that DB feel good about himself, but he's got to feel vertical pressure here, but you want him on your hip. You need him on your hip. You want him on your hip. So when you get to that point, you guys can be right there and you can throw him right by. So, again, I'm going to erase some of that here, and you take a look at this, foot fire, outside release, keep the integrity of that thing. You want him on your hip. So now you can throw him by in that direction and come right back to the quarterback. That's how we've taught it for a long time, probably 20 years. And again, this universal throw by technique, I saw it on Twitter. Someone's got a good drill of it. I'm certain we've got a drill in the library. I'll dig it up and see if I can get it for you guys. But it's definitely, we want to use that throw by technique. We use it on curls. We use it on digs or basic routes. If we were running a 90 cut, we would do the same thing right there, throw them here and run my 90. And then we certainly use it on a slant route as well versus this inside press. So again, curl route versus press. Hopefully you guys have some of your answers to some of these questions. Certainly some of these come back via email. Again, check out the site. I think there's great resources for you guys. We're on the home stretch getting to training camp here in about a month. And again, Ask Coach, we're going to try to carry this thing into the fall, and it'll be a weekly breakdown and weekly release here, hopefully on Sunday nights, and we'll get that to you guys. I love doing it. You guys certainly, keep my football juices flowing and keep it stimulated and keep me thinking on some of these things, and hopefully I'm getting some coaching points across to you guys. So again, appreciate you guys, and be on the lookout for the next video, and don't forget to check out the site. And if you haven't moved your email address and your membership over, get that moved over so you can get access to all those resources. Appreciate you guys.